my friends, that's right, we are going to run through the 10 best matches of the wrestling year so far, and it's just my stupid opinion. You don't agree, I don't agree with me, and think how hard that is for me every day. I'm me. I also tried to be a little bit controversial with these lists on purpose, because then again, you can throw a bunch of matches in the comments too, but I do agree with everyone that's about to come out in my mouth. So sit your tush in a chair. Let's get into it. Number 10, Will Ospreay versus Josh Alexander from TNA Impact on the January 18th show. So Josh Alexander does not get his due. He is one of the best wrestlers in the world, and we all know that Will Ospreay can also run going, no one's better than me. So when they did clash in TNA at the start of the year, oh my gosh, it was beautiful. It's also a bit like watching Space Age wrestling. Because the fans were so pumped, it had an amazing atmosphere. And if you walked into my house right now and said, Simon, I think this is the best TNA match ever, well, I don't think I've argued with you that much. You also get a Tiger Driver through a table, meaning Josh only gets back into the ring at 9.999 mark. He almost gets counted out. And the Spanish Fly into Stormbreaker combo could be the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Hyperbole. Josh also hits Will with a pile driver on the rampway and gets a Styles Clash for an amazing 1-2 when he smashes out the C4 and he beats William Ospreay. Now, of course, this doesn't make sense because he's the TNA guy, but even then, because it is William, you still go, well, hot damn. So I genuinely think it's perfect given what current wrestling is meant to be, and it's also two individuals who are doing this for the good of the game as opposed to winning or losing. Genuinely is bloody fantastic. But 9, Okada versus Bryan Danielson from New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom 18. Now, anytime Okada and Bryan Danielson do fight, it's going to be special, but this one had a little bit more oomph because it was going down in Japan. Because Bryan had long mentioned how he wanted to have a special match at Wrestle Kingdom when he essentially took on one of the best wrestlers in NJPW history. Good grief, they created magic. They may as well have had a wand. They also killed each other, mainly because they were playing off their match they had back in AEW in 2023, where Okada had broken Bryan Danielson's arm. So the American Dragon was like, I'm going to do the same to you. But then Okada got offended by that, so was just booting Brian Ryan in the head. And sometimes they were just landing on their brains, which was totally spooky. Let's not forget why Bryan Danielson retired in the first place. Danielson also had a wounded eye at the time, so Okada took off the eye patch and booted him right in his seeing device. That's when I knew these two were gonna go nuts. This is a total war by the end of it. If you do like your wrestling to feel real, this is the match for you. And by the time we get a Rainmaker and a 1-2-3, both of these guys just crumple up on the floor because they've given everything. It's also crazy too because it was another classic we got in 2024, and it happened all the way back in flipping January. Number 8, Sami Zayn versus Gunther at WrestleMania 4. I tell you, I love this match. It was just such great stuff in the ring because you did have Gunther, who felt like the impenetrable Intercontinental Champion, but on the other end was Sami Zayn, who is just the best underdog babyface in the world. And my gosh, the sympathy that he is able to elicit. You also had the emotional side because the ring general had just been tearing through everyone for around about 666 days, which he did do to Sam here for a long old while. Zayn was getting his ass whipped. The fact that he wasn't able to fight back and within a few minutes hit the Helluva Kick and get this win, though, just sent Philadelphia crazy. And I was lucky enough to be there live too. I popped my socks off. Not literally, then I would have been cold. I also think this tied into everything that had come before it because Sami had gone from that amazing Jackass match to everything with the Bloodline, that Elimination Chamber encounter with Roman Reigns until he got to Mania 40, finally got this belt, finally got his due. We'd also cemented the fact that Gunther was now a part of the WWE machine, and even with a loss here, was going to go on to the main event, and I'm sure in the future a WWE World title, and this is the kind of stuff we should be doing at WrestleMania. Everybody benefited, especially the fans. Number 7, Adam Copeland versus Malachi Black at AEW Double or Nine. So this is mainly here because I wanted to give Adam Copeland his due, because he spent the first 6 months in AEW just being brilliant. And then very sadly, he did get hurt in this match, which means we won't see him in 2025. That's why I wanted to give him a shout out. I suppose by accident, all of that culminated in this match, because again, he did get hurt, but still, when you advertise a cage match, especially against somebody like Malachi Black, it has to have a bit of darkness to it, a bit of edge, ironically, and that's exactly what it did bring, because these two properly tried to kill each other. But if you want to tell me this is one of the most violent matches in AEW history, once again, you're not going to get an argument from me. And it really does take a few notches up that ladder, because Adam Copeland is 50. And I know age is just a number, but even now, I get out of bed, I'm like, man, I'm so damn tired. And this is what Copeland was doing on a week-to-week basis. You also do get that insane jump from the cage, I know the negative Nancy's out there like to go, oh, me can't believe that he did that. But you know why he did that? Because he just wanted to entertain us. So I'm just going to say thank you, Adam. It also really did help the TNT title, because look what two individuals were willing to go through to win the damn thing. And it had so much going into it, I actually think this had main event material, especially because of the stipulation. The fact they didn't pay it all off on this pay-per-view was the icing on the cake. And now at the moment, as I am talking, we don't know what's going to happen with the championship, but we will always have this match. Number 6, Bayley versus Io Sky at WrestleMania 40. So the irony of this is that we don't talk about it enough. This scares me, because that's kind of becoming Bayley's career summed up. We need to shout about it more. The truth of the matter, though, is that Io Sky and Bayley did have an absolute banger at WrestleMania 40. And how did it end with Bayley finally giving her due, getting her moment, and winning that championship? It made me feel warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum. You also had the most aggressive version of Sky that we'd seen in ages, which she also carried on to the Queen of the Ring tournament. This was always such a great reminder that Bales can go as well. She is a great wrestler. Some of the reversals and transitions are just wonderful to watch. They're just booting each other in the face. And if you wanted me to believe that they actually hated each other, I probably could have got there. It also came off the back of a great build because, of course, Damage Control imploded here, as Bayley did say, I know what you're doing and how dare you not respect me. And they had a lot to contend with on that weekend. They managed to find their way to the tippity top. You also do have the fact that Bayley had won the Royal Rumble and she saw it through to the end. I'm never going to get mad at that. Personally, I would have liked a trilogy of matches between these two, but the fact I got this one, well, actually, that was enough for me. Number 5, Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 40. And speaking of which, this ruled too. With the decision to give Rhea Ripley the win and hold on to her championship just showed how far she had come over the past year. Becky Lynch was taking all of her star power to try and make Rhea an even bigger star of her own. And let's not forget that Lynch was also dealing with the flu during this, so she's essentially a bona fide hero. That's why I'm throwing it at number 5 as well, because you also had Rhea Ripley admitting after the fact that she had a panic attack before they did get in the ring. So the fact they were able to produce this quality, well, it just goes to show they are brilliant, brilliant wrestlers. Rhea getting injured soon after was absolutely devastating too, because you just knew she was on the cusp of something even bigger. But when you rewatch this now and you go through segment by segment and move for move, they just have such good chemistry, and it does come with that jeopardy. If you've never seen it before, well, who's going to win? I just don't know. I also think by the time Ripley and Becky do return to WWE, they can still use this as a launching pad to whatever is next. It is a flipping good fight. Number 4, Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles at WWE Backlash. Now, there are likely other matches that should have been here, but 1, that's really boring. 2, this was awesome. Because not only did Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles totally obliterate expectations and have an absolute banger, but they were surrounded by a French crowd who was just going to bring the noise, and as a spectacle, well, you'd be hard to top it. It really does come back to this idea that sometimes wrestling isn't about wrestling, as silly as that sounds, because once again, hearing the decibel level this audience got to, it blows your mind. I mean, you could have put a swan versus a duck in there. And if you had individuals going, come on, Swan, and come on, Duck, I would have gone, man, it's a 5-star classic. Thankfully, we did have 2 humans, which meant we could increase this further. And tying back into what we just talked about, yeah, there was no jeopardy here because AJ Styles was never going to win. Whatever negativity that did throw into the mix, the other positivity totally deleted it. And once again, if you want to come and tell me this is one of the best WWE main events in years, yeah, let's go with it. It was also a completely different style to what WWE usually puts out there, and you were just able to sit back and enjoy it, so it was fun. There's that secret word again when it comes to sports entertainment, F-U-N. I mean, that really is the entire point. This rocked. Number 3, Bryan Danielson versus Will Ospreay from AEW Dynasty. Is this one of the best wrestling matches of all time? Well, I'll tell you, as far as I'm concerned, comparison is the thief of joy. So let's take that idea, let's kick it out the window, and let's just say this was flubbing brilliant. If you consider yourself a wrestling fan, you have to go and watch it. I think it's actually going to have major significance going down the line too, because when it is time to pull the trigger and make Will Ospreay the AEW World Champion, he will bust out the Tiger Driver again, which he retired after this match because he killed Bryan Danielson with it, then looked at him and went, nah, I shouldn't have done it. Now, the only flaw with that is that they hit each other so hard during this. Why on earth would you even care? And that Stormbreaker into cow mutilation reversal, which is an amazing thing to say, Well, I will watch that until my end of days. It was just proper back and forth stuff too, because neither guy could get the upper hand, because we pitched this as they were each other's equal. Then you're getting into like superhero territory. We also get that amazing 1 count kick out after Bryan had been hit with the hidden blade. And when he hit the running knee and got that 1-2, ooh, I actually thought he had defeated Will Ospreay. And sure, yeah, maybe we could have done without the injury angle at the end, but again, I do think it's going to tie in down the line. This is a genuine masterpiece when it comes to two people who are masters of their craft. I'll be honest with you, I may have watched it multiple times since Dynasty, and I'll probably watch it a few more before the end of 2024. What are you gonna do? Number 2, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40. And then, yes, this one gets in at number 2. And yes, look, I know a bunch of people are gonna be mad, but you could switch 2 and 3 around, and I'm not gonna be upset about it. And when it comes for move, of course, Ospreay and Danielson would win. But I don't want to do the comparison thing again, because again, when I search my feelings, I'm just so happy that both exist. The big shift when it comes to Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns from Mania 40 is that you had a 2-year narrative that was building into this, and when Cody raises that belt above his head to become the WWE champion, he had finally finished his story. The fact we had all the madness in that main event too, when people just decided, I think I'll go and make my entrance now, and the best version of The Rock that we had seen in years, well, all of it just came together to make a little bit of a masterpiece. Speaking of which, the ridiculousness of John Cena and The Undertaker just turning up was absolutely faboo, and the roller coaster this took you on. Like, if you do want to describe WWE as sports entertainment, well, this was them doing it right at their peak. It also gave me what I wanted a la Batista, which is what any wrestling company should be doing, and the fallout of it is that when Roman Reigns does return, he is finally going to be that super duper babyface. So it was just good business all round, really, and it had me so damn invested. Like, seriously, I had such a wonderful time, and I still go back and watch all those ludicrous entrances, and I laugh my ass off. This is gonna take some beating, even around about 22 years' time. Number 1, Sting's retirement at AEW Revolution. Seriously, we said goodbye to an all-time legend and an absolute icon, and I don't actually think we could have done it even better. I mean, every single thing that AEW did do with Sting just made me feel good in my Tootsie Toes. So when we got here, when he teamed with his fake son and best friend Darby Allin to take on the Young Bucks, well, I would do the chef's kiss thing. When you actually do it, you look like an idiot. I also love the fact that he went into this and came out of this as one half of the tag team champions. I'll be completely honest with you. By the time the bell had rung, I had water coming out of my eyes, and I had no problem with it. Seeing the fans go wild for this too just made you feel so damn good in your tum-tum. And this Steve Borden, like, he could have half-arsed this, but he decided to go out with a bang, and he was even throwing himself through glass. He will always be a hero to me. Some people then shout out when it was fake glass, but even then, do you want to be thrown through fake glass? Of course you don't. And just to put the icing on the cake, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson were right on their game. Again, I don't think you could have come up with better opponents. I think what really does sum it up as well is that this was Sting's retirement match, and yet not one person was advocating for him losing that championship, because we all just wanted him to go out on a win. So when he did have his hand raised, word, it was just the best. So I really do think I will watch this once a year until the day I do die, because in terms of throwing everything into a basket, hopefully it comes out as a wonderful gift. This is a 10 out of 10, 5-star, you damn right performance. It's also wrestling done correctly, which I suppose you could apply for anything over this top 10 list, but I have certainly missed some things out, which makes me an absolute goober. You can rectify it right now by going into the comments. You can also click the video on the screen, which is me running down the 10 best wrestlers of 2024 so far. That's more stuff to get mad at. Then we can breathe and all calm down, and I will see you on the next one.